Hello friends. Today we're going to talk again about choosing a 3D modeling program, and in this case, about a program for creating special effects. With me is my son Robert, who handles special effects in our small workshop. He will be providing commentary. If you plan to work with special effects, you should keep in mind that you can, of course, focus solely on special effects. There are indeed such programs available. But do keep in mind that, at least in the beginning, you'll also need to learn 3D modeling programs. This is because in your special effects scene, you'll most likely need some characters who will be moving around. You'll also need some vehicles, perhaps even spaceships and various other objects, and those will need to be modeled as well. And these characters, as a rule, are wearing something. So you'll also need to create clothing. That's just at the beginning. Maybe later you'll find success and work exclusively on special effects. You might also need to create detailed landscapes. There are separate programs specifically designed for that, for example Gaia. In addition, you'll need to learn a program for assembling the entire scene. For example, this could be Adobe After Effects or Nuke, and of course it would be good to know a video editor so you can edit the final video. The choice of special effects software determines how complex the effects can be and what options are available. So, there are various programs in which you can create special effects. For example, there's the program Blender. This is a 3D modeling program, but you can also use various plugins and built-in tools to create a wide range of special effects, even quite complex ones. One big advantage is that it's free, which makes it very popular. And there are a lot of tutorials on how to create special effects, how to rig characters, how to do sculpting, and how to put it all together. But it does have certain drawbacks. For example, it doesn't handle large scenes very well, it starts to lag, and it works in a single window, which is usually inconvenient for people working with graphics. The second excellent option is Maxon Cinema 4D. This is a powerful program that was specifically developed for creating impressive cinematics, that is to say, short video clips. A great deal has been done within it to enable truly high-quality animation. They have their own dedicated render engine, Redshift, which allows you to create absolutely stunning special effects. This render engine runs on the GPU, meaning on the graphics card. Therefore, in principle, rendering happens quite quickly. But this program is paid, and the Redshift GPU render engine is also sold separately. By the way, the sculpting program ZBrush also belongs to the same company, Maxon, and it too now has the Redshift render engine. So in principle, you can combine things. If you get into Cinema 4D, you'll be able to do both special effects and sculpting. As they say, everything will be native for you. The third option is the major software package Maya, which is mainly intended for 3D modeling and animation. It has very well implemented animation features. In fact, that's exactly what it was made for. It's made by Autodesk. It's a big company, so both modeling and animation are excellently implemented there. Special effects are a bit weaker, but can be done with various plugins. The fourth option is 3D Studio Max, also from Autodesk. This is a large package that is mainly used for architectural visualization nowadays. But in reality, you can create characters in it. You can and you should. The only real weak point it currently possesses is its animation capabilities. There are very few tutorials available, and it's not as convenient or user-friendly as, for example, in Maya or Blender. However, within 3D Max, there's a truly powerful and versatile plugin called T-Flow, which allows you to create very beautiful and impressive special effects, and it's only available for 3D Max. 3D Max works with the Corona or V-Ray engine. V-Ray now has GPU acceleration, meaning it runs on the graphics card. There are also programs for 3D Max like FumeFX, which generates fire, smoke, and explosions. And there's also a plugin for 3D Max called Phoenix FD, which can create very beautiful water effects, as well as explosions and fire. For destruction effects, there's also a powerful plugin for 3D Max called Ray Fire, which allows you to beautifully demolish various structures. Separately, there's a robust program called Houdini, which isn't primarily intended for traditional 3D modeling, but you can create almost any special effect you can possibly imagine in it. Anything you truly want, generative topology, anything at all. Explosions, fire, water, landscapes, whatever you can envision, any kind of detailed destruction. If you want to work with special effects, I would highly recommend starting to diligently learn Houdini, because it's a very promising and versatile program. It is the future. Its intricate node system might be a bit complicated for absolute beginners, but my 10-year-old child has really mastered it perfectly. Houdini's render engine is Karma, which, among other things, works on the GPU. There are also real-time special effects. These are programs where the special effect is generated in real time as you change the parameters. These programs include, for example, Embergen, Liquigen, and Geogen. After you've successfully created a special effect, you can then upload it into a powerful program like Unreal Engine and subsequently use it in your videos. It's a game engine for creating games. Some very famous games were made with this engine, our favorites, MechWarrior and Mortal Kombat. Yes, and they also have really beautiful explosions. Unreal Engine stands out because all the effects and everything else are there, plus there's some basic modeling and everything happens in real time. So you can move around the scene and see what's burning, what you've just created, maybe a landscape you modeled or a special effect you placed, and it all shows up right there. You can turn it on like a game and see how it will look. There are also special beautiful effects for the Unreal Engine game engine that can be installed separately as plugins. For example, there's Fluid Flux. It has its own standard Niagara effects, which are fairly simple and straightforward, or you can easily import effects from other programs. In general, real-time special effects are of course considerably simpler than those that are meticulously rendered on a dedicated render engine over extended periods of days or even weeks. But usually scenes with special effects are quite dynamic and visually engaging, so the difference is often not readily noticeable. That's precisely why real-time special effects also have very good prospects. If you're not yet making any significant money from special effects or 3D modeling, it's generally much better to render at home using your dedicated graphics card because it will be considerably faster than using your computer's main processor. Alternatively, you can pay a small fee and render your projects in the cloud. There are indeed such services available, because special effects, of course, inherently require a significant amount of computer resources. If you're starting 3D from scratch, I would now recommend considering either Houdini or Cinema 4D because both possess truly excellent effects capabilities. Cinema 4D will also allow you to do 3D modeling, so in a way it gives you the complete package. Houdini will let you focus specifically on special effects. But if you're choosing when you already have experience with some 3D modeling software, then your choice will depend on what I just mentioned about plugins and capabilities. What you consider to be the pros and cons of using plugins for different programs. Because there are plugins for other programs as well. For example, Blender has a particle system. You can also create special effects there. And if you compare that to programs like Houdini, for example, which are specifically designed for special effects, what are their pros and cons?
The main problem with plugins, of course, is that when you enable a plugin and load the program, it takes longer to start up and it constantly keeps that plugin in memory. But the advantage is that you can create everything right inside the program without leaving it. Then just click a button, the plugin opens, and you can make whatever you want, like some smoke or fire, and then set it up for rendering right there.
And another important thing to consider is the overall compatibility of these various plugins, because each individual plugin is developed by its own specific company. For example, Tyflow and Phoenix FD are separate and distinct plugins, so in theory they are indeed compatible. They work together, but there can still be some compatibility issues. Houdini, on the other hand, is a standalone program where all the special effects are integrated from the start. Then you export them.
And programs like Houdini are truly powerful standalone applications, not merely function as plugins. In those, you load a model that you created somewhere else. The significant downside is that you can't create a very complex model there. Of course, there are modeling tools, but they're not very advanced. So you would typically import a model that you have built in a different program. You have to export and import files. That takes just a little bit of time. It's not always convenient. But on the plus side, Houdini is a lightweight program. It loads quickly, much faster than plugins, and it works on a node-based system, just like the Tyflow plugin for 3ds Max.
So there are individual nodes that are intricately connected by these delicate threads or wires, and they precisely define the various processes that will happen parametrically within the system. In other words, you connect a new node. This brand new node has the potential to completely change the entire effect you have meticulously planned and thoroughly thought out. I sincerely hope this video will prove to be incredibly useful to you. You'll be able to choose the program that suits you best. This was Dimitri Evtifev and my son, Robert Evtifev, signing off for now. Goodbye, everyone.